What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes. And in today's video, I wanted to share with you 5 lessons that I personally have learned from this bear market. And a little background, a little backdrop on my journey through markets, both in stock market as well as cryptos. I got in 2020 when things were at all-time lows, or at least lows in terms of things that levels were not seen in decades. And riding the wave up, and then now riding the wave down, and the unprecedented slow burn that we've actually seen as things have trickled down, and it almost seems never ending, right? So just lessons I wanted to share, and hopefully you guys find some value in this and will help you along your investing journey, whether that's stocks or crypto. Let's just get into it. All right, so no fancy images or anything, because I just want the message to get across. All right, they're not complex points, they're not complex lessons, but I think they're very simple, and that's what makes them so powerful. So let's just go. And this time I numbered them, so when I say 5, they'll actually be 5. All right, so let's get into it. So know what you're investing in. That's first and foremost. And again, from the perspective that I came into the markets when things were at lows, they had drops significantly. You don't necessarily need to know to make profit. You don't need to know what you're investing in, because things have bottomed so much that when you invest in certain things, you may think you know enough of what you're investing in, and then you see the outcome, which are profits being made, but the end game, you have no idea, right? You haven't done the work. You haven't looked at the fundamentals, not even just of the company, but of investing in general. Right. And so for me, patience, like that's almost a bad word for me, patience. I have very little. And so I'm quick to pull the trigger on something I feel comfortable enough. It's a double-edged sword. I'm able to pull the trigger on maybe 60 to 70% of information versus needing to know 99%. So it comes with good and bad. But when that happens and when the outcomes are favorable, it's so easy to kind of, be delusional, which I was, thinking that you know more than you actually do. And so you got to know what you're investing in. And that could be, you take your time with a company and maybe you miss some profits, but long term, you'll avoid some major pitfalls, if you know what you're investing in. And that also allows you to stomach when things go the opposite direction. Okay, so very important, I can't stress this enough, is know what you are investing in. So in the crypto space, if it's Bitcoin, if it's ETH, if it's an altcoin that you like, you gotta know why you're investing in it. All right, and if it's just for profits, that's fair game. But then you gotta be on that, and you gotta understand when to get in, when to get out. You just gotta know. So you gotta know what you're investing in, and you gotta know your own mindset with what you're investing in. So very key point. All right. Number 2 is be prepared for both sides of the coin. What does that mean? Again, I came in at lows, and as things were skyrocketing up, hey, if you don't have any perspective, meaning you don't have experience in the markets, you think it will always go up. And conversely, now, if you just got into the markets now, you're going to think that the market will always trend downwards, because that's the pattern that you're in and that's all you've seen. But it doesn't. It doesn't go up forever, and it doesn't go down forever. And you got to be prepared for both sides. Now, why do you need to be prepared for when it goes up, right? That's an easy thing you would think to handle, right? Oh, things are going up, you're making profit. Great. Take some profits. When do you take the profits? Are you going to take any profits? Which I think you should. And I learned that you should. But you got to have that in your mindset. You may think it's always going to go up and then things flip and you've lost those profits. So, and then going down, if you've invested in something, if you know what you've invested in, you can dollar cost average and gain more of what you know about at a cheaper price. But you got to be even keel. You got to know, hey, look, things may be good now, tomorrow they won't be, or today's bad, but it won't always be like that. So you got to be prepared for both sides, both up and down. So number 3 here is long-term perspective. Now, there may be some of you who are traders or swing traders, meaning it's not short term, maybe it's a week trade, or maybe if it's over a month or so, or a couple of months, right? There are those who will trade within those time frames. That's fine. Okay, but this message may not be so much for you. This is for me. Having a long-term perspective allows me to sleep at night. Every single time, I kid you not, every single time that I tried to make a short-term profitable trade, and not in options or anything like that, just in general, I thought something was beaten down in terms of a stock or a crypto project, an altcoin, and I went in thinking I was going to make a quick gain. I got hurt by that. Okay, and when all I'm doing is trying to make short-term profit, that means I don't care about the project, or I don't think it's got legs to sustain itself. When it flips negative, I can't stomach that, because I'm not there for the fundamentals. I don't care for the project. It's just about the profits. So for me, long-term perspective has been a blessing. I don't look at stuff as much as I used to, meaning the charts. Actually, I rarely look at charts now. I don't look at my portfolio as much. I just, if the price is down, I want to go in and buy stuff, and that's it. So it lets me sleep at night, keeps me sane, and I'm not panicky. There's no anxiety. I'm not freaking out. There's no fear, uncertainty. There's no doubt. It's just been very, very helpful to have a long-term perspective. And long-term for you could be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be. It just lets you be settled and understand that you have room for ups and downs. So what's number 4 is nothing is a guarantee. And this kind of fits with, being on both ends of the spectrum or two sides of the coin, up and down, but also even if you've done the work, okay, even if you're even keeled, you're not emotional about anything, you understand that there's ups and downs, there's still no guarantee that what you think is going to happen. Okay, and if anything, the last 2 years will show the lack of control that may happen in the markets with respect to either the stocks or the crypto projects that you invested in. And that's a fact. Nothing is a guarantee. What is considered 100% slam dunk today, tomorrow could be at the end of bankruptcy, right? Or a rug pull in crypto terms, where founders take the profits of the project and they just leave the project, and next thing you know, the tokens or that project itself is worth nothing. So there's no guarantee. You've got to go in with your eyes wide open that whatever you invest could go to zero. That's the bottom line. And last but not least, now, this is not a comparison, Buffett versus me, in terms of investment savvy or portfolio gains or anything like that. More to do with a phrase that is commonly used by Buffett. And his phrase is, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy, right? And so basically that means when people are panicking and are selling out of their positions, any good positions that you see, that's the time to buy in, right? And then vice versa, when people are getting greedy and jumping in, you got to be fearful of that fact and try and take profits and get other positions, or at least reduce them. But for me, because I have that long-term perspective as well, it's more about expanding versus contracting, right? So, and I've touched on this on a previous video, when there's so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt like there is now in the markets, that is the best time to get yourself more involved in the communities, more involved in what you are trying to achieve. So the learning process, the building your own brand, building your influence, building your understanding, so that you are a go-to person once things come back. Because remember, it doesn't always go up. The markets don't always go up, and they don't always come down. So if it's a down time, that's not the time to cower and contract and say, I'll stay away. It's the time to expand, so that when the light comes back on that particular market or that project, crypto project, you're there front and center. All right. So yes, there's that profit end of it, of be fearful or be greedy, but there's also you yourself and future outlook. So are you going to build yourself to the position where once all the eyes are back on your particular crypto project or your sector, that you are the go-to? Or are you going to be someone that just kind of follows in with the crowd? You are fearful as well, but more in terms of, I need to kind of hoard what I have. Be a mindset of contracting and not putting yourself out there. And then what do? When things are front and center, you're not the go-to person. So bear market is the perfect time to reach out to people and try and make connections, because nobody wants to delve in that space. right? Or very few. And when the attention is hot, you're fighting, right? It's like crabs in a barrel or a bucket. You're fighting over one another to get that attention. But in a bear market, if you're just reaching out to people, you are standing on an island by yourself, and everyone can see that. There's a spotlight on you. So those are my 5 lessons, and I hope they hit home for you. If you are just coming into the market now and you see these things are going to lows, and maybe you feel a certain type of way, I hope these 5 serve you well, because they're going to serve me well going forward. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff if you found value in this video. Remember, tomorrow never comes, so get in the game today. See you guys in the next video.